Look, there is evidence that some gymnosperms were insect pollinated in the Jurassic period. This is proof that the bees existed in the gymnosperm period. Gymnosperm, it means 400 million years ago. There was no flowers at that time. There is evidence that some 400 million years ago, the world was only plants. There was no flowers. The plants were seed. They produced seed. After 200 million years ago, start the flower making trees. Then God ordered it, eat of the fruit, because when the bees were created, there was no fruit. When God created the fruit tree, why? I will tell you why. There are animals that they are called herbivores. They eat plants. There are animals, carnivores. They eat meat. But there are animals, it's frugivore. They eat fruits. And there is omnivore who eat plants and meat. The frugivore animals that eat fruit God created them after the flowering tree started. After. This means the bees are one of the first creation of God before 400 million years ago. This proves there is no evolution. Why? Because the bees it has 4 metamorphism: egg, larva, pupa, adult, and it's very advanced maturation. If the bees existed from 400 million years ago, there is no evolution. But the proof, they didn't find an amber of 400 million years ago bee. But there is evidence that it was insect pollinated the non-flowering plants. If the bee didn't exist, there is no plants to pollinate. How you take the propolis?
This is a propolis trap, and I will show you how I'm going to apply it. I'm holding it, drip around the top of the hive. Now I'm going to take the top off, and the inner cover.
You see this yellow? The bees, it's opening. It makes this propolis. It closes like a remedy so that fungi, sickness, viruses don't add. It's antibiotic. They put this trap. Not too much bee makers know about this. They put this trap so that they collect the propolis, that it's cure for the people. It's not the honey, not the wax, not the pollen. They have cure, they are antibiotic. But the real cure is this.
You beekeepers know what I mean. The inner cover and the top set on top of these 2 crossbars. And then, now they've got this stick propolized to the propolis trap. So I pull that loose, and when it gets cool or cold, it's as hard as steel. So I've taken the propolis that is on the flat surface of it. So you see it right there. So I'm going to start that.
This is the bee antibiotic, bee remedy. Okay, everybody will tell it's a wax. How we check that the propolis is pure? Because it's cure for people. This is the bee remedy. 400 million years of research that the bee protected itself. How we know it's pure or there is no wax in it? These 2 bottles are propolis dissolved in little alcohol. This is a glass of water. When you put the dissolved propolis in water, the wax comes out. It's not pure propolis. They sell in the supermarket maybe, but it mixed with, it's not pure. Look, the wax comes out of the water. If it's pure propolis, there must not be wax. When you put, this is pure propolis, it doesn't precipitate like wax. From this you can check if your medicine propolis, if it's pure, and you can take it. It's pure, it's natural, it's the bee remedy. Look, the wax, its pieces become. This is maybe 10% propolis. This is very pure. Now we will speak another subject.
Finally tonight, small talk. Very small talk. Scientists have long studied how various creatures communicate. Dolphins in the water, chimpanzees on land, birds in flight. But insects, could they possibly have anything to say? Well, when it comes to the tiny ant, it turns out the answer may be yes. Here's Nick Watt.
Ants live in highly structured societies. They are masters of architecture and even agriculture. And now,
They have agriculture.
scientists tell us ants actually talk to each other.
Talk to each other. They talk to each other.
Were you surprised by what you found?
We were. Yes, we were surprised. Absolutely.
With an iPod and an old pair of headphones, they discovered worker ants are indifferent to rock music, but stand guard when it
When they put music, they don't listen to it. When they put the sound of the queen ant, they come.
breast queen makes this particular sound.
They stand on the speaker with their jaws and their mandibles opened, something like saying, "I'm defending."
Now they discovered that ants are speaking. Okay? Here, Solomon, when he came to the valley of the ants, قالت نملة, a female ant. All ants enter your dwellings, that you do not be crushed by Solomon and his soldiers, wait, they perceive not. In Arabic, in the valley of the ants, one girl and female ant go inside your houses so that Solomon, he don't crash you, not crash, يحطم يعني, not كسر. We will check this. Now we will watch the sound of the ants. This is a sound of a small ant. This is the language of the ant. This is baby ant. And this is the adult ant speaking now. Okay. Now we will watch something else.
I bet you didn't know that all the workers and soldier ants are females.
You see, all the soldiers and worker ants are female. When in the verse قالت نملة, all the workers and the we watch, listen again.
Didn't know that all the workers and soldier ants.
Workers and soldiers are female. قالت نملة, it's female. All the ants are female.
Are females.
Workers
So
and
nearly
soldiers.
all the ants you've ever seen in the wild were females.
All the ants you see in the wild are female.
The insect body has a hard outer covering called the exoskeleton.
The ants have exoskeleton. We have inside our skeleton. The ants have outside the skeleton.
The exoskeleton is made of both chitin and protein.
It's made of chitin.
The exoskeleton acts like both a skin and a skeleton. It gives the insect form like a skeleton, but like a skin, it protects against water loss, injury, and infection by microorganisms. The insect body is divided into three major sections: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen.
Okay. We will watch something here.
Number 8. They dispose of their dead.
They bury their dead. They are a big society.
Only a few creatures on Earth treat their dead with some relative deference. Humans, elephants, and, shockingly,
You see, there is three things in the earth belly there, the elephants, and the people and the ants. They must be a very big society.
ants. They can clone themselves.
They clone themselves, you know what this means? They don't need male. The female, they have parthenogenesis. Because this is God's spot, Khalaq Namlatum. The female, they don't need male, they produce.
Parthenogenesis is a form
They have parthenogenesis.
of reproduction where there is no need for fertilization, making the resulting offspring a clone of the mother. A group of Amazonian ants was found to give birth. Teaching style is called tandem running, where the teacher ant will teach a young.
Remember, but the spider, it's not parthenogenesis. It must have a male, the spider. But the ants, no, it doesn't need male.
Ant the ropes by running with it. This kind of teaching, even more surprisingly,
They teach their children.
farming by cultivating fungi,
They make
just
their
like humans
medicine.
do in farming crops. They even use pesticides to combat
They use medicine.
parasites that affect their crops, hinders the growth of bacteria and fungi. Ants do not only raise crops, but also livestock, which they use
They have livestock like us.
for milking. The livestock
They meet the livestock.
consists of insects like aphids, mealybugs, and Myrmelococcus caterpillars that secrete a sweet liquid called honeydew. The ants keep the predators away from their livestock and even herd them from one feeding
They
location
herd.
to another, just like what we do with cows. When it is time to collect some honeydew from the livestock, the ants milk them by tapping them with their antennae. The
They
ants
make-
even bring their precious rage wars. Imagine the scene in the final battle
They
of
make
Lord
wars.
of the Rings.
Look, remember this because it's important. They make wars. Every colony, it make war with another colony. They don't. One queen, they make war with another queen. Remember this.
Brings the return of the king. Total carnage wherever you look, with the battle lines blurred out as the warring parties in this armor. Number one, they practice slavery.
They have slaves. When they make war, they take the other ants and they make slavery. Look what kind of a community.
As a whole, ants are known for being hard workers, but just like humans, there are some rotten apples in their baskets. There are several species of ants that are dependent on slave labor for survival.
Okay, I wanted to watch this just to take idea so that you understand the next subject.